This is our September office hour. I'm very excited about this office hour as we will be talking about our new platform, TN Portfolio. First, I would like to introduce you to our educator effectiveness team once again. We have with us our Senior Director, Martha Moore, our Director of Data and District Support, Amy Floyd. I am Tracy Riddle. I am the Director of Educator Effectiveness. And we also have with us today Micah Fager. And Micah is our Director of Team Training and Support. Sarah could not be with us today, but if you have any questions around recognition in our teacher advisory councils, any of the recognition programs, please reach out to Sarah. In today's meeting, as I said, we are going to talk about the new platform TN Portfolio. First, I want to remind you of some of the things we talked about in August around your district administrator access. Then we're going to jump right into getting your teachers rostered and submitted for the platform. And then very excited to share with you the teacher training that we have available. We'll review your next steps before the next meeting and the support we have. As I said, we want to first start with your district administrator access to the new platform. In August, you all received district administrator access if you are the portfolio lead. Also in the August office hour, the PowerPoint and the recording will walk you through exactly how to log in as a district administrator. I do want to remind you of that information. You can find the guidance in our office hour, but you can also find guidance on our portfolio platform page. It's in one of the drop downs under student growth portfolios. There is a district administrator section. So look there for your district portfolio administrator manual. But first and foremost, I want to be sure that you are all logging in with your SSO. The few that have reached out that have had problems, most of the time it's because you are not logging in with your SSO account. But if you do go to the platform and you are using your SSO account and you still cannot get in and see your district administrator access, please email us at portfolio.questions so we can try to figure out what's going on. And if you have not tried, please do so as soon as possible. Before your teachers can get into the platform, first they have to be rostered. So I have emailed you all the link to the rostering guidance when I invited you to this meeting, but we also have the link here. This document will walk you through step-by-step on how to create your roster and to submit it. This is different from previous year's roster guidance because of the new platform. It is a little bit of a different template. In today's presentation, I'm going to walk you through the template step-by-step. When you hover over the Student Growth Portfolio tab, you see this at the bottom, the resource section. Here is where the rostering guidance is as well. When you click on that rostering guidance for leads, you will see the document. In the third bullet, that is the template. So you will want to click on that third bullet where it says Portfolio Rostering Template. When you click on that template, you will see this page. You want to download this template. Do not begin to fill it out from that link. You must download it. To download the template, you want to click File. Then you want to click Save As, download a copy, and then you will see this template where you can start adding things and you can see drop downs. In column A, you will type the teacher's first name. In column B, you will type their last name. In column C, you must type in their district email. Do not take the email from TN Compass. This email for this template must be their district email. In column D is their 9-digit teacher license number. In column E is your 5-digit district ID. In column F is your school ID. And in column G, this is also different this year. This is a model ID for what model the teacher is being rostered in. The model ID is aligned with what it's called in the new platform. At the bottom of your template next to the teacher tab, you will see the model ID tab. If you click on that model ID tab, you will see a list in column B of the models, and then you can find the ID that you will want to choose from this dropdown. You do not type in the model ID in that dropdown. You just find the one that aligns to. So for example, all PE teachers, this is their model ID, but in fine arts, you will see the rubrics that you were rostering them into. So for example, if they're vocal music, they have this ID. If they're general music, they have this ID. The same thing with world language. The French have a specific ID. The Spanish have a different ID. And then those departmentalized grades have different IDs. So just be careful that you are rostering them in the correct model. Once you have completed that, you want to refer to your guidebook for administrators and teachers just to make sure that you have everyone rostered that should be rostered on your template. When you open this, you will see this page. On page 10 is some more rostering guidance. Keep in mind the first arrow, you see the educators who are required. When your district or charter chose the model that you are implementing this year, that means that every teacher in that model, fine arts, world language, or PE, or every teacher in that non-tested grade implements the portfolio. In the second bullet, you will see some special circumstances in which an educator would not be rostered. So I want to go through these 4 briefly. First is a tested teacher. An example would be, we sometimes see a fine arts teacher who may also be a 5th grade math teacher. If that's the case, that teacher is already a tested teacher in a grade that receives a TBOS score. If the teacher is receiving a TBOS score for 35% of their LOE, then they do not need to complete a portfolio. You cannot get 2 tested scores for your 35%. Another example might be if you have a licensed substitute or an interim teacher filling in for maybe, an example might be a maternity leave, where the teacher's only out for a short amount of time and someone is filling in. They are not the teacher of record. They do not complete the portfolio. Or if you have a teacher who's moving around to multiple schools, who is a substitute or an interim, they do not. If you have a special education teacher who is the teacher of record for only SPED students, an example of this would be if you have an inclusion class, the inclusion teacher who pushes in to only serve the students in that class who are SPED students, he or she would not, but the teacher who is in that classroom co-teaching, who teaches both, they would submit the portfolio. The 4th example would be a teacher who moves around to different schools. An example of this would be, this is also typical of your PE or fine arts, where the teacher may go to several schools in one day or a week, or maybe move around throughout the school year. If they're going around to 3 or more schools to teach their subject, they do not have to be rostered. As far as exemptions, currently, you would not, most likely, may not know who is going to be PYE. So you go ahead, the only exemption from evaluations is a teacher who is either not under contract for 120 days, or they're not employed full-time, or they have missed school and they are not in that classroom for at least 121 days. Then they would qualify for PYE. We have a link here for more information on the PYE policy. But if a teacher becomes PYE after you have already submitted your roster, that is not a problem. We have roster verification in January that you submit by February. So that takes care of any of those who become PYE. So again, notice in bold the qualifications for PYE. And if someone is not marked PYE, then we will not remove them from the roster. And again, we talk more about this exemption in January and February when it's time to verify all the teachers that are still that are in the platform. If you have more questions about who should you roster, especially if you are new and this is your first time to roster teachers, we have a quick guide for you. You can reference this quick guide in that same bullet where you pull your portfolio rostering guidance. It's at the bottom. Here's a quick summary of the quick guide. So I have laid this out for you in the PowerPoint. So as I said earlier, when your district or charter chose the model, then every teacher in your district or charter that teaches in that model is required to do a portfolio. You will notice in the pre-K and kindergarten, and this will go all the way down for all 7 models, the teacher must be licensed to be evaluated and to be in T Encompass. They must be staffed in T Encompass as a teacher, and they must serve as the teacher of record. That is the case for all of the teachers in all 7 models. Some of the differences is in pre-K, you must have at least 3 students to submit a portfolio. And in pre-K, we only assess 4-year-old students because the pre-K portfolio model is aligned to 4-year-old standards. So you will see as we go through out each of the 7 models that those are the same criteria: licensed, employed by your district or charter, in T Encompass as a teacher, they are the teacher of record, and they have at least 3 students because a portfolio has a sampling of 3 students per collection. Over to the right, you see some cases of some of those special circumstances we talked about in the guidebook. So just as a review, and again, these are pretty much the same all the way down. We'll go through each model. But again, those special education teachers who are only the teacher of record for special education students, they would not. And again, that is most likely those push-in inclusion teachers or teachers who are in some of those most severe classrooms with only special ed needs students. If you have pre-K teachers who only teach 3-year-olds, or they have less than 3 4-year-olds in that class. And we've also included assessed at point A and point B. Currently, they may have at least 3 to test at point A, but at point B, if any of those are not still there, then we would discuss those at roster verification, because it has to be the same 3 students at point A and point B. And again, that is the same for pre-K through 2nd grade. If the teacher goes to 3 or more schools, that is the case for pre-K. And then for 1st and 2nd grade, it's the same expectations. We just changed the grades for each one of these models. I would like to share with you that with fine arts is also the same. They must be employed, they must be staffed, all your fine arts teachers in your district or charter, unless, and then again, those special circumstances, unless they move around or unless they receive a TVOS score. PE, on the other hand, is different. This year, the PE model has changed from prior years because of the new PE standards. So do notice, if you have a PE teacher who does not teach the tested grades that are in the model, that is 2nd, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. If your PE teacher does not teach any of those grades, then they cannot be rostered because the portfolio only assesses these grade standards in PE. If you have a PE teacher that teaches in a high school or teaches only 9th through 12th grade, they will not be rostered. The PE portfolio model does not assess those standards. And then the same rule around TVOS is the same for PE and world language. For world language, especially if you're new to world language portfolio this year, I want to remind you that the world language portfolio only assesses for Spanish and French world language teachers. If you have a world language teacher that teaches any other foreign language besides Spanish or French, you would leave them off the roster. So once you have figured out who to roster, you want to check with your district's license administrator. Again, make sure they have a license. If they have a permit that is a 9-digit license number, that is a license. They are staffed in T Encompass As a teacher, they should be evaluated, and that includes the portfolio. You want to check with your evaluation configurator for some of the information you will find in that guidance that you can use, the staff assignments, reports in TN Compass, but some of you may not have that access at the district level for that report. So work with your evaluation configurators to make sure you have correct license numbers. Please don't forget, don't use the emails from TN Compass. You can only roster with the school email, but we do want you to use TN Compass to make sure you have those license numbers correctly, as well as your district code and your school codes. You may also want to check with your HR to ensure you know exactly who are the pre-KK, first, second, fine arts, world language, and PE teachers in TN Compass. Once you have all of this information, then you want to submit it to portfolio.questions. Remember that you have downloaded this template, so before you X out, make sure you save it under your district name, 2425 portfolio teacher roster, and then attach that in an email to portfolio questions with teacher roster in the subject line. Once that is done, our team will go through those rosters and we will have them put into the platform. All of the rosters are due either on September 27th, or you can begin submitting those now. Next Friday is the deadline for you to get those rosters in so we can get teachers access to the platform. So the exciting part for teachers access. We have had many teachers already emailing portfolio questions, trying to get into the platform. Please remind your teachers. And also as a reminder to you that the only way a teacher can receive access to the platform is through the rostering process. So if they have not been rostered, they don't have access yet. But once we have their roster information and we have uploaded it into the platform, the teachers will receive this email. So they should wait until they get the email. That's when they will know they have been uploaded into the platform. This is an example of the email that everyone receives that is a teacher in the platform. The email will come from Teach All. In the email is the link to go to this page, the Welcome to TN Portfolio page. Teachers log in here in the blue box, log in with your TDOE SSO account, just like you do. This is the same page you see when you log in as a district administrator. You must be using your TDOE SSO account. It's not your school email. The school email is what we use to upload you and connect you. It is your SSO account that you use to log in. If teachers log in and they receive this message that says you have not been enrolled, we are instructing them to reach out to you first. Some reasons that a teacher would get this message is if they have gone to the link and tried to log in with their SSO, but you have not submitted their roster yet. Then they would get this message. It also could mean that their school email is not connected to their SSO account. So then you would want to reach out to your district EIS coordinator to ensure that teachers' SSO accounts are up to date. There's more information on that in our August office hour as well. Once teachers are in, they can begin working in the platform. On the portfolio platform page, we have this section for portfolio teachers. Here with the red arrow is their instructional video. Please be sure you have given your teachers all access to this page. It is currently live on the team website. This is a 16 to 17 minute instructional video that walks them through step by step from logging in all the way to submitting their portfolio. So the video is a live recording. The PDF is the PowerPoint. For your next steps, please go to the TN Portfolio site. Make sure you can get in as a district administrator, that you do see your district administrator access. If you don't remember how to do this, please go back and watch August's Portfolio Lead Office Hour. Then download that Portfolio Teacher Roster template. Roster all your teachers in your selected models. Name and save a copy of your template with your district name first. Email that template back to us at portfolio.questions and put teacher roster in the subject line. Please submit this roster by Friday, September the 27th, and then share those teacher training resources with all of your portfolio teachers. In October, I will walk you through how to go in as a district administrator and check your teachers' reports and to see if they have logged in and set up their accounts. If you have any questions regarding a SSO account, please start by asking your EIS coordinator. If you have any questions around the portfolio, please email us at portfolio.questions. Our educator effectiveness team has several emails of support. If you have questions around TN Compass and observations, growth and achievement measures, evaluation training, please email those to Team Questions. All questions around portfolios come to us at portfolio.questions. TFOS roster verification goes to RV Questions, and then questions around differentiated pay plans and vacancy data, they go to compensation.questions. These are all the emails that our team supports. If you have questions that are outside of our team, you can still email us, but then it will take longer to get your answers. So we want to supply you with email support for those things outside of educator effectiveness. So licensure questions, PDPs, experience, all those things go to educator.licensure. All questions around TASL go to TASL information. All questions around administering the Tennessee Universal Reading Screener, they go to tn.universal screener. And then all questions around assessment go to TNED at assessment. Thank you, and I will stop sharing and turn it over to you, Micah, for any questions that we may have in the chat.
We just have one that I haven't been able to answer, and just because it popped up, of when the slides will be available. This presentation will be available later today, and then when we receive our recording back from our communications department, that will be posted as well.
The teacher training is accessible now.
Yes.
You don't have to wait for this PowerPoint or the recording to go ahead and share the teacher training resources with them.
Is the detailed teacher evaluation guidance document going to be updated?
Can you tell me more? We don't have a document called that on the portfolio page.
Caroline, if you want to come off mute, you're welcome to.
Evaluation guidance?
No, it's called the Detailed Teacher Evaluation Guidance. I found it yesterday, but it was from 2023, and it had, where did I put it?
You have this sticky note, and then you
I'm sorry, let me find it.
That's okay. We don't have anything called that on portfolio page. So if you want to just hang on and see if you can find it. It may be from a different, we have an evaluation page.
You can't see it because I'm fuzzy. Let me see.
That's okay.
Oh, there it is.
I'm so sorry. Does it say something about PE?
Yes, it says physical education portfolio.
Oh, yes.
Assessment guidance.
Okay, if you will go to the team website where I was showing you all those resources, the PE page has been updated to align to the new PE standards. And if that's from last year, then it's not on the website currently. So if it's from last year, everything from last year has been updated and is now on the website. We do have one document. If you look at the portfolio teacher page, it'll say anything that has a star on it will be updated to tweak from the word Portfolium, the old platform, to now TN Portfolio. But everything on that PE page is up to date. Everything is new. So if whatever that is from last year, I'm thinking, I don't know for sure because we've taken everything from last year down. So don't use anything from last year at all. Only use what's on the team website currently today.
So this is not going to be updated though?
Let me go to the page real quick. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's what this is now. This is the updated one to that,
Got it. Okay.
I think.
We have a document. If you go to the portfolio teacher page, it's called the PE Portfolio Teacher Guidance. And it has a star saying upcoming soon. So we can, that is one of the documents with the star that we haven't taken out the old platform information. So if
Okay.
that's the same document,
Yes.
yes, it has a star and it is being updated as we speak. It will be
Okay.
up soon.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
Our next question is, I have one new teacher that is not in TN Compass yet. Do I need to wait to enter all other educators?
No, you go ahead and you roster everyone. Deborah, do you want to come off and tell me why you have a teacher that's not, is it they're not in TN Compass because they don't have a license?
Tracy,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, that is the reason she does not have a license yet. I
Yeah,
think we're
if she doesn't-
close.
That's okay. If she doesn't have a license, we can't, she won't be able to get in. So, don't hold up everyone for her. Sometimes, we have seen teachers not get their license until later. I would still have her go ahead and start working on her portfolio, doing her point aids, doing all those things. And then when we do roster verification in January, if she has her license by then, you can submit her at that point.
Okay,
If she
great.
gets it before then, you can always just email us at portfolio questions and let us know.
Okay,
But
great.
no,
She
we
is-
don't want you to wait. If they don't have it by Friday's deadline, don't wait for everyone else to get access.
This one says, do we submit our completed roster to you via email only, or do we have to submit something in TN Compass as well?
You only do submit it to portfolio.questions. At the very bottom of that guidance, it will tell you exactly how to name it and save it, as well as the one of the slides here in this presentation. You download it, save it, and email it to portfolio questions.
Someone else said, I just downloaded the rostering spreadsheet and I only have one drop-down box that says model ID on the teacher tab.
That's right. The model ID column has a drop down, and in that drop down are all the models. So just scroll until you find the model for your teacher. At the very bottom of the template, it says teachers. That's where you're rostering. We made a tab that says model ID just for your reference, for you to go over and see what is the ID that matches the model. But on the template, there's one drop down, and then you go through all of that and you pick the model.
Everything else you will enter in from your information from TN Compass.
That's right. You
There
have
is
to
not a
type in,
drop-down.
we don't have your teacher's license numbers, and we don't have your school and district IDs for your teacher. You have to type those in. Excuse me.
The template is on that team website where our portfolio resources are. You can find it under the Student Growth Portfolio tab. When you click on that, you scroll down to resources, and it's also on the portfolio platform page as well. I've dropped both of those links in the chat if you want to scroll up in the chat and look.
And we will post this PowerPoint later this afternoon. or first thing tomorrow morning. And the PowerPoint will also have the active links for you to download. Carlos, do you have a question? I see your hand up.
Yes, I just wanted to be sure. I'm still kind of unclear about the district ID and the school ID. Micah, I know you responded to my question, not meaning to offend you, but I just want to make sure. So there is a roster on TN Compass that I can pull that has my school ID and my district ID in it.
Yes. When
Okay.
you look at that portfolio rostering guidance, it'll say, now, Carlos, you may not have the access to pull reports. I don't know what your configuration is in TN Compass, but your evaluation configurator at your charter has access. They can pull the staff assignments and they can tell you what your school code is for those teachers. And then your charter has,
Is it a different number for each teacher, or is it just?
it's a different number for each school.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Ms. Collins, do you have a question?
I do. Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
My question is about, oops. Okay, I thought someone else was speaking. I'm sorry. My question is about fine arts teachers who teach more than one prep in fine arts, for example, general music and vocal music.
Yes.
Do they have the option this year of doing samplings from both classes, or do they have to just choose one portfolio model?
Thank you for that question. We get that question a lot. Teachers can only be in one model. A portfolio model has 4 collections aligned to that model. So they can't do 2 different models. That would be 2 different portfolios. So if they teach fine arts and they teach one or more of those different fine arts classes, you can work with them to pick which one did they want to use as their growth score. So if they teach general and vocal, you just pick one. They can only do one model.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
I have a quick question from the chat, and then we can
Yes.
call on some more people. I have a district person who helps oversee portfolios but doesn't have a license. How can they have access to TN Portfolio? So it sounds like a second portfolio lead.
Okay, if that's the question, they can have access to a teacher to do a portfolio if they don't have a license. But if they have someone in the district that and if we're not stating your question correctly, whoever this is, please come off mute. If they want someone in the district to support them with district administrator access, don't necessarily have to have a license to be a district administrator, but they do have to have an SSO account. So the portfolio lead can email us at portfolio questions and request that someone also help them with and be a district administrator. But in order for them to log in, they have to have an SSO account.
So it's me, Elizabeth Kaler. I'm who put that in the chat.
Yes, ma'am.
My question is that I'm having trouble getting them a single sign-on because I'm being told they have to have a license number in order to get a single sign-on.
Elizabeth, honestly, our team doesn't issue single sign-ons. We just know we have to have them. So I would advise you to go to your EIS coordinator, and there's also DT.support that can answer that question. I honestly don't know the requirements to get an SSO.
Okay.
But
yes,
I do know you have to have one to get in.
Yes. Well, it is my EIS supervisor that told me the person would have to have a teaching license. So that's why, yeah, that's why I'm just trying to figure out. So I will contact DT support. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And Beth, I see you on here with a question. I'm happy to see you. Do you have a portfolio question?
I do. Here, I think I lower my hand, sorry.
And I don't want to embarrass you, but are you doing portfolio?
We are.
Okay.
I know I was in the other, I was in the other meeting yesterday because
Okay.
we've got, yeah, we are doing portfolio. We're
Okay.
dipping our toe in the Ames Web.
Okay,
Um,
okay. I just making sure, Beth.
yeah,
I
no.
for some reason I was thinking, okay, what is your
Yes.
question? It's
Yeah,
good to
we're
see
we're
you.
dipping our toe in the Ames Web world because we may make that switch next year. So we've
Okay.
got some classrooms
No,
piloting it.
no
So
problem, no
anyway,
problem.
and I work with our SPEDS folks. So anyway, we've got all kinds of fun things going on. Now, I just pulled up the roster and was just working in it for a moment and noticed that it doesn't like when I'm trying to type in my school codes. When I type it in, it tells me that it needs to be 4 digits, and it is 4 digits. And
Okay,
so I
try
don't,
this. I'm gonna give
yeah,
you a tip. At the top of that column, highlight that column. And Micah, you help me if I don't say this right. I can do it. I don't know if I can say it. Highlight that column and format that cell to be 4 digits. If your school code is 1 digit or 2, is that what's happening? And it's
Because
taking
it
out the
may kick
zero?
it out because it's
no,
taking
I'm
away the
typing in
zeros.
like 0195 and it says school ID must be 4 digits.
Right, because it's showing, so what it's doing is kicking out that beginning 0. So you have to format your cell to accept the 0. Do you want me to share that? I can share my screen real quick.
Share your screen, Micah, for in case there's anyone else who doesn't know how to format.
Yeah, because it's weird. It didn't do that on the license number that I just typed in. It's only doing it in the school code one.
Okay,
Interesting.
thank you
Yeah,
for showing us
uh-huh.
that.
So when you highlight, right click, format cells, and you're going to do your number as a custom. And you're going to click that little 0 that's by itself, not with the decimals. And you're going to make sure you have 4 zeros in this input box right here. And you click OK. And what was that school ID? We'll just try 0,
Just
4,
try 0
5,
something.
2. So
And
that
they'll take it.
should
Perfect.
work.
Thank you, Micah.
I still get school ID must be 4 digits. I'll play around with it.
And you've downloaded it?
Yes.
Mm.
I can cut and paste it from last year's form. I just can't type it.
I don't know what to say. I've had a few people already submit this week, so I haven't heard that being a problem, Beth. But you keep working on it, and if you still can't figure it out, just email me, and we'll see what we can do to help you.
All right.
Maybe we get on a call with you and
All right.
and make
All
sure.
right.
Yeah, and I don't know because the template that Micah and I just pulled, we pulled it straight from that guidance document. So
Yeah, that one I just did and formatted was one from the website.
Okay. Yeah, I downloaded it as well. I'll figure it out. It's okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're very welcome.
Elizabeth, I just heard back from our tech support and put some information in the chat that might be useful about SSO and no TLN.
Thank you so much.
It says, please tell me again where the email to the teachers will come from.
The email will come from Teach All. Teachers will receive that email after we receive the roster from you, and we have in the roster, if we will check the roster and make sure all the columns are filled out correctly, submit that, and when they all go through, then the platform sends them an email from that slide deck that says welcome. Also, when teachers watch that training video, it will also show them that email that they'll get, and it will tell them more about that email.
Tracy, can you clarify the difference between Teach All and TM Portfolio?
Absolutely. Teach All is Oh, I think I can, Martha. TN Portfolio is just the portfolio platform. Teach All is housing it, but and we've had this question from some of you have tried to go to your SSO tiles. It is not embedded in Teach All. Like you can't go to Teach All to find TN Portfolio. You can only access it through the TN Portfolio link, but it is controlled in the background by Teach All. It won't be a separate SSO tile. If you're not a implementing district portfolio lead, just anyone can't log in and get access to this platform. If you're not a roster teacher, you can't get in, where Teach All is more open to everyone.
So
Does that help?
well, for my clarification, I think, and if I have the question, other people might, will that email to teachers come from TN Portfolio or will it come from Teach All? My guess is they're wondering if it's going to get caught in their filters.
It says Teach All in the
Teach All. Thank you.
And we tested it out. So Amy got an email from Teach All, but it says welcome to TN Portfolio.
When I pull the report from TN Compass, I downloaded the roster, like the instructions, and I noticed that it didn't give the grade levels of the teachers. Did I miss a step?
Well, it's not that you missed a step, but you are pulling the report from TN Compass to ensure teacher license numbers, district codes, and school codes. You should already know what teachers and what school they're at. So the report is, and in those directions in the portfolio rostering guidance, it will talk you through that. You pull the report and you filter by the schools where these teachers are, and then you filter to just them to get their license and district codes. And I don't believe, and Amy, you know more about TN Compass reports. I don't believe that report tells you their grades. You should, that's why you need to work with your HR people to know who teaches fine arts, who teaches PE, and then you can filter by school and by your, you already should try to already have your names and emails on that roster, and then use TN Compass to figure out their licensed school and district codes to make sure those are correct.